Formula 1 returns to the jewel in the calendar for round 7 of the season, the Monaco Grand Prix, and this circuit being the second wildcard race of the season, meaning all drivers 1st to 20th will score points, providing they start the race, and there's extra bonus points available for pole position. But not that Ferrari were troubling anywhere near the top of the timesheets, as Charles Leclerc managed the Scuderia's best time of P12 in practice too, but as ever had the full support of the home crowd and his nearby friends and family. Renault though were looking very speedy throughout the 3 practice sessions, with the RS37 looking very suited to the street circuit which takes us around an entire country, and Ocon in his near home race looking very competitive in the top 3. Now it's much the same that Alfa Romeo, as on 1 lap pace towards the end of 3rd practice when all teams are doing their end of practice and qualifying simulation runs, Kevin Magnussen and Josh Taylor were trading top laps towards the 9 laps of the session. As ever, around the street circuit you can never count out Red Bull. The Austrian outfit may have had a bit of a slow start to the season, but the Monaco circuit is more about the driver than the car. With Max Verstappen and Alex Albon at the wheel, you can never count them out for a surprise podium or even race win. Hey guys, Renault here. Welcome back to Formula 1. We're here now at the Monaco Grand Prix, and if you watched the F2 race last week, the chaos that happened there in only 20 laps, we've got nearly double that here today. We've got Nicholas Latifi though starting at the back of the grid in P20. Williams had a difficult showing this circuit. Being more about the drivers, it also is a very downforce heavy circuit, and the Williams is lacking quite a bit of that at this point in the season. But being the European segment now, this is the time where teams will bring upgrades. Hopefully they can try and get themselves a bit further up the order. As Lance Stroll gets through into Q2 for the first time this season, starting in P15, so Aston Martin look like may have brought some upgrades here to this weekend, being a good opportunity to outscore Ferrari and Williams for the battle in 8th place in the Constructors. And then coming onto the formation lap, and as you can see, it's a front row lockout for Toyota, which came out of completely the left field side of qualifying. They were nowhere really in practice through the electrical issues they've been having. But around Monaco you can run everything a lot lower. And then 3rd and 4th it's into the Alfa Romeos of Kevin Magnussen and Josh Cherry, with Alonso starting the lead Renault in 5th. Then come the 2 Red Bull cars of Verstappen and Alex Albon, with the Mick Schumacher lead McLaren from P8. Esteban Ocon looked handy over practice, but couldn't quite get together in qualifying start from 9th, and Sergio Perez gives Aston Martin their first top 10 start of the season. Lando Norris unlucky not to get through into Q3 starts from P11, ahead of the 2 Mercedes cars of Kvyat and George Russell. Then comes Sergio Sette Camara as the lead of the AlphaTauris, along with Lance Stroll, who managed to get through into Q2 but could go no further than 15th, and out in Q1 again are both of the Ferraris of Leclerc and Haryanto, 16th and 17th. Nico Hulkenberg starts as the lead of the Williams, only from P18. The Williams really struggling here around the circuit, with Pierre Gasly P19, and as we saw Nicholas Latifi rounding off the grid. But all 20 cars do make the start of the race, so that every car from now will score points. And to come now then onto ourselves, starting in P4 behind our teammate Kevin Magnussen, which isn't all too much of a surprise. But what is a surprise is the front row lockout for the Toyotas, and everyone getting through on the medium tyres as well. Trying to go longer on the first stint, trying to stretch it even to a set of softs as the race goes on, because qualifying was in the dry, but the medium strategy was the way everyone wanted to go, and those in the top 10 still found a way to make it work. Now waiting for the back few rows of cars line up, of course, further up you start, the longer it takes for everyone there to get to the grid. And now coming to the 5 red lights to start the Monaco Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. It's a pretty even start there from the front row. It's a good start there from Massachusetts, now leads the way into turn 1. And we're going to start aside with Alonso trying to dive on the inside line. He's managed to squeeze the Spaniard out wide, the 3-time world champion and our rally championship rival, along with the McLarens and our teammate Kevin Magnussen as well. You've got a bit of side by side behind there. The 2 Rebels now doing a bit of battle there for supremacy. Got Verstappen, you can try to squeeze out Alex Albon, but Albon can keep it does, he can dive it back, not quite though. A nice move there from Verstappen to try and keep himself ahead of his teammate at this early stage. And you've got Esteban Ocon there in the other Renault. Not qualifying as quite as high up as he would have hoped. You've got Perez trying to go for a dive on the inside line, and Lando Norris trying to keep that position. Perez getting Aston Martin's first top 10 start of the season, with some downforce upgrades. Both of these things, they've definitely got a high downforce package, which is something that they were lacking a little bit last year. Definitely lacking downforce, and a good run there from Sergio Perez, as Norris got a bit squirmy there on the outside line. He managed to put himself back in front of the Brit, so brilliant start there from Sergio Perez. Some good defensive driving as well, and the Mexican gets himself back up now into 10th place. With that battle, you can already see a massive gap being created to the other 9 cars in front. And we've got a strolling battle now with the home favourite Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari taking away on the inside line. We saw contact here in the F2 race last week, and Stroll going to keep it around the outside line. He drove here, able to keep it side by side through the swimming pool section now. Once again, Stroll keeping it there on the inside line, trying to keep his nose through. He's going over the curbing, trying to keep it still side by side with the Canadian. He's going to get squeezed out now, because that could give Hulkenberg an opportunity. Not quite though, into Raskas, not quite able to make the famed out of my driver dive into Rascal, so I'm sure we'll be seeing that from someone at some point over the course of the next 38 laps or so. We've got Nicholas Latifi there, still at the back, falling away a little bit. Now this is back up front though, we've still got the Toyotas there leading the way. Nobuharu Matsushita leading a Grand Prix. Not for the first time, he's still yet to actually win a Grand Prix. Couldn't quite get one with the dominant car last year. It was really Hamilton's dominance there, along with us as the season went on. Matsushita there, he was a good finish P3 in his first full season, so he's definitely got the pace and consistency. Just needs to get a little bit better rub with the green. Well, once again, we're still ahead of our main rival, Alonso, which is the main thing for us. And up front, we've got Matsushita now pulling away. We've got Hamilton starting to cause a little bit of a roadblock now, so maybe the issues, once again, for Toyota starting to creep in a little bit. He's got a teammate, K-Mag, all over the back of the 2008 World Champion, but into the chicane out of the tunnel. They're not quite close enough to be able to make a move on the back of him. And then with the association, of course, no DRS on here. You only got that through start finish straight as the actually only DRS point on this circuit. Because for safety reasons you can't have it there through the tunnel, and Hamilton looking really so maybe his tyres are starting to wear out a little bit, because that so far, apart from the reliability issues in general with the cars themselves, the tyre wear does seem to be a Toyota issue, because they're coming with a massively powerful engine when they rejoined in 2017. But the aero side has still got a lot of learning to do, having spent so long out of the sport up until that point. You see, and came over there all over the back of Lewis Hamilton. Now we're starting to get all over the back now. It's Kevin Magnussen now. The teammates pretty much stuck in the middle now, because we're both faster than the Toyota in front of us. But this being Monaco and these cars being so wide as they are now, 2 metres wide, there's nothing really you can do to actually try and get a pass unless you've got such a good pace advantage, or you can get lucky with someone getting caught up there in a bit of traffic, which is how we won the race here last year. Hülkenberg got held up behind cars coming into the pits that weren't allowed down, but they hadn't pitted yet, so we're out of position. And as you see, on to lap 16, so nearly the halfway point of the race, we are still in P4. We've got K-Mag in front of us, just have to drop away from Hamilton now, so imagine his tyres are getting a little bit too hot. Now we're getting all of the back over our teammate K-Mag, so he could make a dive into Rascal. See if we can show the nose to the inside line. Our teammate Kevin Magnussen do the my driver dive. I'm sure Al will be proud of that one. We make it stick first time and can make it clean on our teammate as well, which is the crucial thing. And we also get the DRS now to try and pull away from the Dane, who won this race back in 2019, so he's won this race before, so he knows his way around the street circuit. Once again, just getting caught up here behind Hamilton, maybe using his tyres up a little bit too much, and now K-Mag is driving behind us, and now he has his turn now to try and do the defensive role for the team. We've got him now in between ourselves and Alonso. Now can we try and do anything now to catch up to Lewis Hamilton and try and make a move on our fellow Brit to get anywhere close to Matsushita? You can't even see, he's just been pulling away lap after lap. I mean, not massively pulling away, because he's still wanting to save out his tyres. He's just pulling away about a tenth or two every single lap, just building the gap, being consistent with his tyre wear, of course being out in front. It's him who can dictate the pace, and him being out front, not stressing his tyres too much, just running his own race, doing his own thing. It's working out very well for the Japanese driver so far. And then on to lap 19, a few laps further on, we've got Hamilton there, still in front of us. We've not managed to close on him yet, but we have pulled away a little bit from the K-Mag, and he's still keeping it very consistent. As we hit the wall though, we tapped the wall, had to cut over the chicane. But thankfully we didn't get a warning or anything there from the stewards. And now we managed to get a kind of Rascal tyres are starting to go off a little bit now, but now we've got the Toyota there, Lewis Hamilton now coming in, so Hamilton's tyres did look like they're going off as our teammate Kevin Magnussen covers it now, going for the undercut strategy on ourselves and Matsushita. And coming this early, it is going to be a set of hard tyres to go to the end of the race. Indeed, it is a set of the white wall tyres there, going on to the scale design of the AR21. Which I have to say, this new design of the car, I really do like it. Especially with the We Racer 1 message that we've gone with, along with Mercedes will bring that back in at round 4 at Brazil. But the livery as well, just give it a little bit more personality as well, with the Alfa Romeo heart there on the side of the car as well. And they've rejoined in clean air throughout all of that, so they can try and bang with some laps. Because everyone else on the medium tyres will be coming in fairly shortly as well, so it's not like someone went on the hards and will be running very long, so no one in this race is trying an alternate strategy. So everyone in this race, in theory, is doing the exact same thing. Now then, a few laps further on, Matsushita stayed out for a couple laps more, because he was in the lead, he didn't have to stress his tyres too much, so will have an advantage in tyre wear. You know, it depends. Has he been able to use the tyres now, to use his tyre life that he saved up? And it is a set of the hard tyres as well for the Japanese driver. Looking to become, is he possibly the first Japanese driver ever to win a Grand Prix? There's been a couple on the podium. I don't know if we've ever had a winner of a Japanese winner outright. Matsushita could well be the first one if his car can just go the distance. And so far this season, he's had the better reliability over his teammate. And he comes out just about in the lead race still. We've got one of the Mercedes there still yet to actually make their pit stop. Then we've got Lewis Hamilton in second place, then we've got Alonso there now, who's come out ahead of our teammate Kevin Magnussen. So Alonso actually doing an overcut strategy on Kevin Magnussen. That's something that we've missed, but we're in there with a good strategy to get in ahead of our teammate Kevin Magnussen. That's unfortunate for us. Then we got Max Verstappen, who's still staying out with the Red Bull. They've had a slow start this season, but the tyre wear with that car, the Asian new design car, has always been pretty good. Then we've got ourselves now leading the way. So me and Verstappen trying an alternate strategy, trying something different now, going longer, maybe hoping for a safety car, or maybe even to stay out long enough to go on possibly a set of soft tyres at the end, because we didn't use them in qualifying in Q3, so we still got a set saved that we didn't use at the end, and we're scrubbing our way through. But now if we can keep pushing like this, and we might be alright. And Max Verstappen, he's coming in now at the end of that lap. So now what size is Verstappen going to go to? Is he going to a set of hards and just pushing full out to the end, or is he going to go onto a set of softs? And it's a set of hard tyres for the Dutch driver. So it's only going to be ourselves now as the only driver. I think maybe even one of the Mercedes as well. Not seeing them come out yet in the pit lane as actually the pit crew there comes out now. So it's just going to be ourselves, as the only driver to make our final stop in this Grand Prix now. Where's Verstappen going to rejoin now? On his way, there's one of the Renaults going to pass another team with Kevin Magnussen. And then you've got Alex Albon now coming out into turn 1 now, side by side with Max Verstappen. He's going to be side by side with Verstappen just cutting in front. Obviously a bit aggressive there from Max Verstappen, but he needed to do that. He needed to keep ahead. Always team Alex Albon, who stopped earlier, will have his tyres up to temperature, and he's having to push to try and keep the McLaren there, ultimately Schumacher behind. But Verstappen, with the overcut strategy, has managed to just about stay ahead of his teammates, so he couldn't stay that longer, otherwise he would have dropped behind. Now on to lap 25, we're now coming in at the end of this lap, confirming there to the pit crew. As we've got a 15-second lead over Massachusetts, so we're going to drop behind him, and we're going to drop behind Hamilton. I expect it's going to be closer. There's only a second between Hamilton and Alonso, so it's going to be very close there. As you've got one of the Williams there with Latifi up in front, so don't know what's happened to him to be so far behind, be almost allowed down, because we haven't pitted yet, so he's going to gain 20 seconds or so back on us. But Latifi there is having a little bit of a mare this weekend, not quite found the form in that Williams car. Really so far this season has been struggling compared to his teammate Hulkenberg, and it's going to be a set of the hard tyres. What's going on there? Because we should be going to a set of the soft tyres. We started out this long, we only got about 40 laps of the race left, and the team has put us onto a set of the hard tyres, so it's just something the strategy's gone wrong. What did you put me on hards for? Well, the whole purpose of going longer was to go on the soft. That's why I started out all these extra laps for, so you can go on soft now and go to the end, easy win.
So we believe this is the better strategy. Tyre weight on the softs look a bit risky to take to the end of the race, and we need these tyres to last.
Are you sure you're watching the same race? Have you seen how long I've gone on mediums? I was matching time with Matsushita, maybe even gaining time as well, on worn mediums to their new hards. Softs is the way to go. And so the team decided to make our strategy change and didn't even tell me about it. It came in and put us in hard tyres. So now we're in the same boat as Alonso, as Hamilton in front, and Matsushita out in the lead of the race. We set out so much longer. We're on easily the freshest tyres here. We've gone 4 or 5 laps, maybe longer, down the Toyotas. And we've got Alonso behind, so his tyres are up to temperature. But now we've got to try and make moves on the same kind of tyre. And you see, we made it once on K-Lag, but that was our teammate, so he's not going to put up that much of a fight, really. We're making a move with Hamilton's going to be a lot different. He jump over the curb once again. Coming to rest, guys. We're trying to look for a way in the outside line. Not close to where Hamilton gets a bit of one compromise. Then we're going to go on the inside line of Lewis Hamilton now through the final corner. We give him a little bit of a squeeze. He gets up the curb, he gets a poor run. Then you got Alonso now. Then with the DRS away, makes a move on Hamilton. So Hamilton's lost 2 places in one corner. We move inside line. There could be 3 riders. Cutter! We're into the wall. We've been saved right now. We've lost our front wing. We're into the escape road. And our front wing's been taken off there by Alonso. He smashes there into the wall. We cut to Hamilton as well, gets involved. He's lost his front wing now. And all that being on the wrong tyres in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's going to be another piss off for ourselves now. Our front wing's gone. And Hamilton there, he's going to have to make another stop now as well. As we get a few cars, we unfortunately managed to hold up there a little bit along show. As now as a VSC's called out. I'm surprised not a full safety car with all the debris. But looking at briefly now from Alonso's perspective of what just happened. He gets a run there on Lewis Hamilton. He's got DRS open as well, as have we. He gets a double toe from us. And coming out then into the break, we move over. We just close the runners. We just weren't quite clear of Alonso. Racing incident there. We had to move back into the break zone because he can't take the first corner from the pit lane. But 3 wide into Devote, he's never going to go. And we were the one in front. So, and Hamilton, you can see there, jumps over the curb, loses all momentum completely. And Alonso manages to get through. But Hamilton there with a burst of speed out of somewhere. That Toyota engine smashes into the wall. 3 into 1 just doesn't go. And we come off the worst out of that. And now we're going to have to definitely make another pit stop now. You see all the other cars that go through, the Red Bulls, the McLarens, Ocon and the other Renault as well. Hamilton there parting on the apex has somehow managed to actually keep all the wheels on his car, which after a crash like that is fortunate in itself, but have we got any suspension damage is going to be the next question. Now then, back onto live pictures. This is at the end of that lap. Hamilton, who also lost his front wing as well, having to come in now for another set of tyres, and that's going to be his race done and dusted. Hamilton not having any luck in the season, and ourselves as well. We stayed out so much longer. We couldn't set of the soft tyres, which we should have done, and it's not what House it puts into that position unnecessarily if the team are going to change the strategy. And now we can change a new front wing, and oh, look at that! It's a set of the soft tyres. It's almost like I wanted them a lap ago, but now the team give me the soft tyres. And we're going to rejoin onto the track, surely behind Hamilton because we came back in front of him. And Hamilton's going to set a medium tyre, so he's not confident with the tyre wear of the TRD 121 and the new Toyota car for this year. They can get to the end of the race, but now we're going to drop down now to stone dead last of all the runners in this race. I don't think there's been any retirements as of yet, so we're going to be in 19th and 20th places right now. And now then, can we make a move on Lewis Hamilton to try and get something back in this race? Because any points we can gain now could be crucial come the end of the year, especially with Alonso now being up in the podium places as well. We need to salvage something from this race. If it's just 1 or 2 points, all the points for fastest lap, which can go to anyone in this race, and regardless of where they finish or if they finish. And now Hamilton now trying to get his tyres up center on the mediums canal. We're in a compound difference of tyres, and if you think we would have been on 2 compound difference before if we were in soft versus medium, so we should have had lightning pace. But someone who's not had lightning pace is Nicholas Latifi. I don't know what's gone wrong for him in this race, but something's clearly gone wrong. Into his second order. He's got some sort of technical issue with that Honda powered car. Now we're all over the back there of Lewis Hamilton, taking all the lines that we can, trying to look for the inside line, coming up now into swimming pool station. Not quite enough there to make a move on the Toyota Haas car. Not quite close to there, but now keeping with the back end now through swimming pool station now. We get going, so we get a beautiful line there through the chicane now, coming out into Raskas, going to go for a dive, going to try and switch to the outside line once again. Hamilton goes to the defensive to the inside line, we're going to drive cleanly around the outside line in Lewis Hamilton. That was such an easy move, and now there's only 1 compound difference of tyres. If we were on the softs and Hamilton was still on those hard tyres, we would have breezed past him, and I think by now we would already been on the back of Matsushita. Yeah, this would never happen, right, if you gave me the softs in the first place. I mean, do you see how easy that overtake was? I knew how Matsushita to get past. Throwing away this win.
We'll talk after the race, head down, there's points to be had. There is from the top.
And now we're an entire sector behind Pierre Gasly as the car in front. He's going to battle there with one of the Ferraris of Hamilton, then you've got the Williams of Nico Hülkenberg, and then of the other Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, and we've got Charles here ahead of Charles Leclerc doing his own thing, a little bit of a gap behind, and there's quite a gap there in front as well. Aston Martin of the battle for the back 3 teams is doing work so far. The Aston Martin team so far this weekend. Now quite a few laps further on, we've now caught up to Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. And the AlphaTauris, we know they have such good straight line speed, but they really don't have the downforce package. Going for a low drag design, which is why they've been struggling at Spain and now here in Monaco as well. And we try and go in the outside line of Pierre Gasly, doing it to Hamilton, but Pierre Gasly's going to fight it into the final corner. We're leaving space, he's hit the wall! He's hit the wall and he's spun! He's stuck now in the final corner. He's stuck in the racing line and there's nowhere really he can go. He has to have to do more of a 10-point turn really. Now he's lost the engine now. Stuck in the middle of the track. Here comes Hamilton now to try and make a move through. With Pierre Gasly, he hits it to Hamilton! Gasly reverses into the Toyota. And that's going to have damaged the side pod of Lewis Hamilton and possibly even the rear wing of Gasly as well. And to be fair, you couldn't really see Hamilton going through. We were surely to get forwards and backwards because getting reverse in these cars is actually really difficult because they're not designed to go in reverse. They just need to have a reverse gear because sometimes you have to use it, but it's not all that often. And Hamilton there, is he? Now there's going to be question marks over the reliability of that Toyota car. Was damage to the side pod. Is that going to fit the radiator or something? Is Hamilton going to have to retire that car early to try and preserve parts for the rest of the season? Now we're coming back now. It's back onto us, so we're coming up behind one of the Ferraris though into the swimming pool section, but of course through here we're not quite close enough to try and make a move on him. And now we've had history with Rio Hayato in the past. He has made contact with us before. Back at Italy 2018 when we were leading the race and he took us out from the lead when we were lapping him in the McLaren that day. Now we're all behind with that now on the Indonesia. Can we go for a minor overdrive? Not quite. Once again trying to flick it to the outside line. Do this move now for the 3rd time. They've got Hayato going to keep it. It's someone's going to give as much room as he can. There's contact as well. And Hayato lobs off his front wing. Hayato once again makes contact with us and it's not for the first time. So now Rio, he's already at the back anyway. He's going to have to pit now for a new front wing. And like I said, on the pre-race grid, the chaos from the F2 race last week was a precursor to what's coming up here. We've not quite got the track blockage, that's probably still yet to come with how things are going. But you can't get 2 cars wide there around the final corner. We had the pace around the outside line. I don't really know why Gasly and Rio Hayato fight so much when you saw early, when we made the move on Hamilton. He backed it out early on. That is mentioning the wisdom, the experience of a world champion driver over the likes of Gasly and Hayato still in their careers. And now we're on to the back now of Hulkenberg in the Williams, who we passed last year when he was in the Renault to win the Grand Prix. Into turn 1, we don't go for a try move, no we don't, we just show the nose to the Williams driver. We're almost pushing him now up the hill up to the casino. We've got so much more speed, so much more grip as well. So much more downforce on our car, going to swing it around the outside line. We make it stick there with Hulkenberg going to force our way through the inside of the Williams, our former team from a couple of years ago. No love lost between them, still got massive respect for the team. We made the move stick though on Nico Hulkenberg, and now we're behind the other Ferrari. Remember, we've got the same engine, so in a straight line we're going to have the exact same speed, but we've got more downforce on our car, we've got a better chassis as well, we've got grippier tyres, and we've got one pissed off driver behind the wheel of the car, so we've got all the advantages right now. So all over the back. Oh, Charlotte, they're going to be deploying ERS through here because you can't be deploying DRS at this point. Going out, inch, going to go for a dive on Charlotte, going to show those once again, try and force the Monegasque into a mistake. But no, nothing coming there from Charlotte Leclerc. You know, he's a very talented driver that hasn't quite had the machinery so far in his career to show it. He had a very good debut season with Sauber, which is now our Alfa Romeo team. So the team he left is now racing the team he drives for. We're all over the back. Oh, Charlotte Leclerc coming in, making 4 for 4. Run the outside dive around Rascal. He's going to try and make his stick. No, Leclerc's wise that move. I'm sure the team will be on the radio too and showing what we did to Rio, because Ferrari definitely need points. I said point season with the absolute shed of the car that they've got to race with. Now the DRS on the back of Leclerc into turn 1. Not quite enough there to make a move on him and take a line. The team's arm again. Good run though out of turn 1. Once again we're pushing the Ferrari now. Once again deploying ERS. Up now can try and swing around the side line. Charlotte going to get very close to the wall, almost hitting it. And Leclerc just parks his car just right place. He's going to force the way through though. You're making a little bit of wheel contact there. Wheel banging with Charles Leclerc now going now into the hairpin with side by side. Leclerc going to hold it all the way around the outside line. He managed to force him out wide, and that can give Hulkenberg an opportunity. Not quite. Leclerc just about managed to get himself back in front of the Williams driver. And that was the most frantic lap and a half I've ever done. And now Lance Stroll is the next car on the road. And not for the first time this season, we've had a crash which isn't exactly our fault. Had our race ruined, and once again we are chasing down after an Aston Martin, but this time it's the other one. It was Sergio Perez back in Mexico when Norris knocked off our front wing on the first lap. And now after 3 wide contact into stand of art, we're now chasing down after the Canadian Lance Stroll. You can see how much time we've already pulled on Charlotte. We're lapping 2, 3, maybe even 4 seconds a lap quicker. And some of these guys, they're back in the house with an engine failure. The engine's blown on his Toyota car. And that contact with Gasly, I'm sure the contact with us and Alonso earlier on. And once again, Hamilton just doesn't have any luck in this season. He led the championship all the way to the end last year. The Toyota bad luck curse that's coming from China last year seems to be continuing now into this season. Now they're on to lap 38 39. We're still in P14. It's still a show of 4 and a bit seconds off the road in front. We've got Leclerc 4 seconds behind, so we've had the pace to get in front of Leclerc. Now the tyres, we've been having to push them so hard, a lot harder than we would. As we're now 4 seconds down on our best lap, so the tyres have absolutely died at this point now. We're lapping pretty much out of the pace all these back market cars on the hard tyres. Because if the strategy played out how I wanted it to, we're going to soft tyres, past 2 cars, and slowed it down, control the pace from there. But now almost a lap ahead. This is how far behind I am now, even with the time we would have gained back. You've got Matsushita, he's got Alonso right up behind, so Alonso's putting a massive push at the end, but it's not going to be for Matsushita. Wins his first Grand Prix, and what a track to do it on. He's the new master in Monaco for 2021.
Good job, Devote, good job. Yes! Yes! We took quite a long time, but it was a good one. Thank you. Great car. Thank you guys, LT. Thank you.
And it looks like our teammate came out, comes across the line just about to complete the podium, so Alfa Romeo gets something for this race. We hit the wall around the final corner, so our tyres are absolutely shot now at this point. We go as far away from the pit crew as we can. We crossed the line in, what, 14th place I think it was? But yeah, not a day to be celebrating for ourselves. On one side of the garage, came out with a good result on the other, but we have to have a serious debrief now. At the end of this race, what was that strategy from our team? Disadvantage just putting us under pressure to make up those places like we did, and it just didn't work out for us. But yeah, you get such a this race looks so good at night. I didn't even mention it was a night race. I not even looked at that about that once. But this track, it just looks so good at night with all the lights on as well. So it definitely is a viable track to have a night race on. But Nobuharu Matsushita finally gets a win with Toyota. I mean, he was with McLaren Honda for so long behind the scenes in the simulator as a reserve driver. Knew he wasn't going to get a race. He jumped ship to Toyota and has finally made it work. Taking a look at the end results, and Matsushita wins his first ever race, 7/10 of a second clear off Fernando Alonso. their teammate Kevin Magnussen rounding off the podium 17 seconds behind, so those two in the end were in an absolute league of their own, pushing each other to the limits. Then Max Verstappen with a good race finishes in P4 ahead of his teammate Alex Albon in 5th, so a good haul of points there for Red Bull as well. Then Mick Schumacher and Lee McLaren coming across the line in 6th, ahead of the second Renault of Esteban Ocon. Sergio Perez with a very good day in the Aston Martin, comes home in 8th place to take 13 very well deserved points for the team, and managed to stay ahead for the entire race of Lando Norris and actually put a second clear of him in the end. Then come the two Mercedes in 10th and 11th with Daniel Kvyat and George Russell once again showing better pace in the race than in qualifying, with Sergio Takamara coming up a lot of places to finish inside the top 12, nearly 40 seconds behind Matsushita. And because it's a wildcard race, we get to look at the second half of the order, so Lance Stroll in P13 takes 8 well-deserved points, with ourselves down in P14, but we do get the point for fastest lap. We managed to keep that. That's the crucial thing for us. We managed to limit the damage as much as we can, although as Axel said on the radio throughout the race, this situation just did not need to happen in the first place. Charles Leclerc lead Ferrari in 15th place, they still got a lot of work to do, with Nico Hulkenberg lead Williams in P16. Pierre Gasly didn't really feature too much in the race, coming across in P17, with Rio Haryanto 18th in the other Ferrari. Next to Latifi P19, with both Haryanto and Latifi allowed down, and Hamilton, who's only 2 laps from the end as well. But he's still classified, still gets points, if be it only 1 point for what could have been a much better race for the Brit. And now looking on to how that affects the drivers' point standing, as Alonso manages to reopen his championship lead. 19 points clear, so he's almost a conventional race win worth of points clear now of ourselves, with Mick Schumacher still holding down P3, still only 30 points left. He's still very much in title contention with the excellent consistency that the German's been showing so far in races. So he needs to be placed a little bit though in qualifying. I think he wants to keep himself in the title fight, of course though in the McLaren, which isn't going to be getting any better as the season progresses. And talking McLaren, we've got the other one of Lando Norris in P5, 6 points clear of our teammate K-Mag. Matsushita with his first win gets himself now up into 7th place on 63 points, joined with Esteban Ocon, but on better results he's in front. And Alex Albon gets himself now finally ahead of both of the AlphaTauris on 50 points to Sergio Takamara's 43 and Pierre Gasly's 38, with Lewis Hamilton just about managing to keep himself inside the top 12 on 36 points. And also now looking at the bottom half of the table, in 13th and 14th places we've got the two Mercedes cars with Daniel Kvyat on 31, 6 points clear of Russell. And despite a poor race today, Hulkenberg stays as the lead of the back teams in 15th place on 19 points, 1 point clear of old Force India teammate Sergio Perez. Lance Stroll now only 6 points behind, gets himself ahead of the lead Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, with Rio Haryanto down in 19th place on 6 points, Latifi 20th on 3, and Pascal Wehrlein the only driver on 0 points. And now on to the constructor standing. This is where things start to get more interesting, because Renault have a 17 point lead over Alfa Romeo, and McLaren with another not outstanding but very consistent day keep themselves in the title fight still, and are only 19 points off the lead of Renault. Red Bull with a good day secure themselves in 4th place, even more on 133 points, 34 points clear of Toyota. Still have a lot of work to do. They've got an encouraging size of pace. If they've got good downforce on the car, because this is a very downforce heavy circuit, but still, I think the contact is what ruined Lewis's race in terms of the engine failure. But Massachusetts cars making it to the end, they've still got some good pace, but still got more pace yet to find. I want to find some more because they're only still 17 points ahead of AlphaTauri on 81. We've got a bit of a gap then back to Mercedes, who are in 7th on 56. Aston Martin with a very good day, getting themselves up now into 8th place on 30 points, 8 points clear of Williams, who are on 22, with Ferrari still running off the order on 17. So that's been a very chaotic Monaco Grand Prix, probably the most chaotic F1 race since 2015, where about everything imploded, and Massa was a mobile chicane that day as well. Yeah, there's been quite a lot of chaos as well in this race. So to back on top in Monaco, then leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, which will be new videos on a Monday and Friday for definite, Wednesdays if I can, and select Saturdays as you were seeing for Formula 1 and Formula 2. Also, there'll be a link in the description as well to a poll for driver of the day, so who you think deserves it, whether it be Matsushita, whether it be Alonso, K-Mag, Perez, definitely vote for who you think did the best job in this race. And down there as well in the links will be a link to the Wikia for this season and this series, which is basically fandom Wikipedia. And I edit that myself the day after each race to keep up to date with the results on there as well, all the news and everything for all the teams and all the drivers since this season began back with the 2014 season, 8 seasons ago. And I've made a page for every team and every driver to have ever competed, and it's about 80-ish pages now, so it's a lot of work and has collectively been a lot of work over the years as well. But I appreciate it if you can give that a reading. Coming up pretty soon, should be even maybe a sneak peek of what's coming up in next season as well, in the 2022 season. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.